Hello everybody, I am Tim with the Golf Cart Garage. We are back once again for another weekly Q&A session. We're going to answer some questions, answer some emails that we get at Golf Cart Garage on a daily basis, see if we can help some people out, see if we can help them save some money. It is Thursday, December the 2nd. We weren't here last week because of the Thanksgiving holidays. Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. But we are back now on a regular weekly schedule. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So let's get started. Let's see what we got. Which are the questions for today. Question number 1. I have a 2010 48 volt Club Car Precedent. I've been using this Modz Max Charger, but it will no longer charge. It keeps flashing the low voltage bad battery signals. It's been days now. I have new 120-hour rocket batteries. What should I try? Thanks in advance for your time. Well, if your charger is flashing low voltage signals, then the first thing I'm going to want battery readings off your batteries to see why that is. Now, that could be eliminated real quick. Your batteries either have low voltage or they don't. If it turns out they don't, then you probably have a problem with your charger itself. Now, obviously, I would like for you to try to use that charger on another cart and see if it does the same thing. That could tell us which way we need to go. Also, you got one of two choices there. It's either going to be your chargers or your batteries. Most likely is what the two choices are. So we just need to eliminate one or the other by either getting some readings off the batteries, see if there actually is low voltage in the batteries, see if the charger's telling the truth there, or if the charger's messed up and sending a false fault code. So that's what I would do there. Let's see, number 2. My club car has been acting up for a while. When I press the accelerator, the motor won't engage until I hit the accelerator a few times. Now it won't click at all. What could be causing this? Well, if your car is gas, you worry about is your steering wheel being centered, because that's the last thing that you do. This is what I do after installation of a lift kit or after doing some type of front end work on a golf cart. I go drive the cart. Don't even worry if the steering wheel is not straight. Drive the cart. See if the cart drives normal. Turn a circle all the way to the left. Go around in a circle in the golf cart all the way to the left. Turn your wheel all the way to the right. Go around in a circle all the way to the right. If both of those circles are similar in diameter, you feel like it's turning just as sharp to the left and to the right, and it drives normal in a straight line, and the only thing is wrong is that your steering wheel is off center, that's when you take your steering wheel off and you just center your steering wheel and put it back on. Your steering wheel is on a spline shaft. They can be difficult to remove. Not only is it a spline shaft, sometimes it's on a tapered shaft. So if they tighten the nut down too far, it squeezes real tight on a tapered shaft and it makes it very difficult to get off. Sometimes you have to work it left to right, and you grab it at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock and work it top to bottom a little bit with a little lubricant on there. And be real careful, because sometimes when they come off, they'll come off and hit you in the face. So you might want to leave the nut on just a little bit to avoid that happening when it finally does pop loose. Let's see, number 4. I have a 2009 club car with new batteries. Just started this. Will not move in forward or reverse. You can step on the pedal several times. When you hear it click, it will move. Just checking to see if this is the part I need. ENG121. No, ENG121 is it's the part for the gas car. You just said you got new batteries in it, so I know your car is electric. It looks very similar. That's the G core I talked about earlier. That's what it's called in a gas car. Well, in your case, it's going to be called an M core, so you need to be looking at an M core most likely. That's most likely what your problem is going to be the M core. So that would be what you would need to look into that. Question number 5. Battery percentage dropping fast. Bought new GEM 202 E825 with 6 months old gel batteries, 6 12 volts, percentage of battery on gauge drops fast when driven only 10 minutes. All 6 batteries were checked with a voltmeter. 5 were 12 volts or higher, and 1 was 9 volts. Is one battery bad? Why would percentage drop from 100% to 35 in a short 30-minute drive? Please advise. Well, I can tell you this, you definitely have one bad battery. A 12 volt battery should never be sitting there at rest reading 9 volts. That tells me that you have a bad cell in that battery, and that could cause every one of the symptoms that you described. The battery gauge dropping off, the percentage dropping off really fast in 10 minutes. That could cause all of that, because that car has to have all 6 batteries working before it's going to work correctly. You could, depending on how old those are. Oh, and by the way, you need to check and make sure your charger is designed for gel. You said you had gel batteries. I would want to know if that charger is for gel batteries or not, because gel batteries take a different charging algorithm than other type, than lead acid does. So that could be burning your batteries up. So you need to make sure your charger is matched to your gel batteries. You could fix your problem by replacing that one battery, and all your problems would go away. But check on that charger thing, though. Number 6, I have a Western cart. I understand it's an EZGO chassis. The cart quit on me. I believe I need to order a speed controller, FSIP 1206MX 36 volt 300 amp. Would that solve the problem? Well, I don't know if that would solve the problem in your case, but your car is an EZGO chassis. Westerns are made on an EZGO chassis, or they were made on an EZGO chassis. They had a couple of different electrical systems. Now, if your controller that you looked at is an FSIP 1206, like you said, what FSIP is a controller rebuilding company. So your controller is actually a rebuilt Curtis 1206. So that's what you need to be looking for. And if you can find I think we sell them here at Golf Cart Garage, a rebuilt 1206, and it'll be from FSIP. You just got to replace your controller with the same one that's in there, whichever one it is. I just wanted you to understand that FSIP just means that it is a rebuilt controller. It's a rebuilt Curtis 1206. Now, I'd need some more information before I would say that that's what your problem is. But if you've already had someone tell you that, or just replace it with the same controller that's in there. I have a stock 36 volt EZGO TXT, stock controller and motor. What is the max running amp draw of the motor? Well, that is dependent on not only on a couple of factors. The running amp draw on the motor is dependent on the available amps that your controller that's in the car is able to deliver. All right. Now, the controller in your car, since you said it's stock, is about a 275 amp controller. That's what the stock controller is in an EZGO TXT. Now, you're probably never going to be able to use 275 amps out of that controller. So the max running amp is going to vary between 0 and 275, and you probably never will hit 275. You'd have to be pulling an 18-wheeler up a hill or something. So it just depends on the terrain, depends on how you're using the cart, and it depends on how many you have available. And in your case, in stock, you only have 275 available, so it's something less than that. It's going to vary greatly, less than 275. All right. Number 8. Can you tell me if my golf cart take off at high speed every time I touch the accelerator? Is it my potentiometer? Yes, most likely. But there would be some other things that I would look at, but that would be the first thing that I would look at, is your potentiometer. Depending on what car you have, what type of potentiometer you have, that can happen. If someone did any work on the car and they got 2 wires backwards, that can also cause that symptom. If you have the older 0 to 5K potentiometers, There's a black and a white wire. If they're backwards, it'll take off wide open, and as you press the gas pedal, the cart will slow down. In other words, it does exact opposite of what the accelerator pedal is supposed to do. So that could be it too. I want to improve my ride on my 2016 Club Car Precedent. Should I buy the 3.5-inch lift kit with shocks, or what is your recommendation for a better ride? I really don't want to lift it. We get this question a lot. There's really not much you can do to change the quality of your ride in a golf cart if you don't lift it. There's not much you can do except for play with air pressure in your tires. Experiment with lower air pressure, higher air pressure, whatever you're trying to accomplish out of your ride. Most people want a smoother ride. They want their car to be smoother. Well, in that case, you're going to need to lower the air pressure that could give you a little bit smoother ride. Anytime you go with taller rims, your tires sometimes become lower and lower and lower profile. That kind of stiffens up the ride. The lower the profile, it doesn't give you much room to reduce air pressure when you have really low profile tires on your car. So that's about all you can do to experiment without a lift, is change your air pressure. Now with a lift, you have a little bit more choices. You have a little bit more range of being able to air your tires down when you go with a lift kit. So you might ought to consider a small lift kit, and then you can put a taller tire and you can reduce air even more to get a little bit better ride. This is question number 10. I had a high-speed motor installed in my 2012 Club Car Precedent. Along with the new motor came a new 400 amp controller and 200 amp solenoid. Question is, shouldn't the solenoid also be rated at 400 amps? The shop that did it said it would be fine, but I'm just wondering, is this something to be concerned about? I understand your concern. Your concern is that you have a 400 amp solenoid, a 400 amp controller, and you have a 200 amp solenoid. Well, like I was saying earlier, your car is probably never going to see those type of numbers. You have 400 amps available. You would have to really be pulling something hard in order to even get close to you pulling 400 amps. Your solenoid, your 200 amp solenoid, that's probably what they call the continuous rating, where it's 200 amp continuous. That means your solenoid is strong enough to hold 200 amps on a continuous basis. It can handle spikes above 200 amps, well above 200 amps, for short periods of time. But you're probably never going to even get to 200 amps. So I wouldn't be concerned. I think what the shop told you is correct, that it's going to be fine. So that would be my opinion on that. Let's see. This is number 14. I'm assisting a couple who have his and her 48-volt Club Car Precedent golf cars. One of them recently received new batteries, and now it will not accept a charge from the charger. I have hooked the good cart to the bad cart with jumper cables and then plugged it in the chargers in an attempt to fool the system into seeing enough voltage, but neither charger will charge the bad cart, but they both charge the good cart. Okay, you've done just about everything that I would have done in my shop if I had both of those carts in my shop. I understand what you did with the jumper cables. I used to have to do that all the time. If you're sure that your batteries, the new batteries, have enough voltage in them to turn the charger on, and you've already tested both the chargers, we know the chargers work on the other cart. You've got new batteries in that cart. So I'm assuming that the battery voltage is high enough in new batteries that it should have plenty. I'm also assuming that you did remember to hook up the red wire on the positive on the first battery. I'm assuming that also. Then you've done everything that you can do to come to the conclusion that you have a bad OBC in the bad cart, because everything else seems to be fine. So that's most likely where you're at, and that's pretty much the way that you eliminate it really quickly, is eliminate everything else that's easy, and then whatever's left, which is only the OBC in this case, is going to be the reason that your chargers won't come on. And you have a couple of choices there. Obviously, you can replace the OBC. That's one choice, or you can get a charger that doesn't even use the OBC. You never told me if the bad cart runs. You just told me it wouldn't charge. If it still runs, and you can get a charger that doesn't even use the OBC, Lester Summit 2 from Golf Cart Garage, and then that would solve your problem there. Okay, number 15. I have an EZGO 2017 72 volt. When in reverse, it makes a sound like a brake squealing, but not when going forward. Well, if you're not talking about the reverse buzzer, I mean, you know, all golf carts come with a reverse buzzer it's a high-pitched noise in order to get people's attention, and the driver's attention, just so you know that you're in reverse before you back into something behind you. If you're not talking about that, if we're talking about a separate sound besides that, then you could have something in the brake system that's metal to metal making a grinding sound. So you could pull the hub off and clean it out in there and put it back together and see if it goes away, and examine your brake situation too while you're in there to make sure that it's okay. But see if you can pinpoint where the noise is coming from, if it's actually coming from the rear or if it's the reverse buzzer. Okay, let's see. Number 16. This is from Virginia. My car creeps along in forward but goes faster in reverse. If I go in reverse a few yards, then switch to forward quick, it will sometimes run at normal speed. I may have two problems, do you think? Well, I need to know what kind of cart you have and what kind of electrical system. If you have a mechanical forward and reverse switch, I would be suspecting something is up there. You've got some burnt contacts that are not causing the amps to flow freely through your system, because in a mechanical forward and reverse switch electrical system golf cart, all your amps travel through that forward and reverse switch, just as much as all your battery cable amps. They all travel through that forward and reverse switch too. It has mechanical copper contacts that when you switch it from forward to reverse, they heat up, they get warm. If you end up getting a loose connection, they can actually get really, really hot. Once they start getting hot, the metal actually starts degrading. The copper actually can degrade. It can discolor and degrade and not allow amps to pass through as freely, and it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. So, like I said, I'd need to know more about which cart you have in order to properly help you diagnose that. You're welcome to set up an appointment with me and we can discuss it. Just go to golfcartgarage.com and click on the Gearhead on Demand link, set up a schedule, and I'll give you a call and we can talk more about it. Let's see. Let me go over here to Facebook and YouTube, see if we have anything going on. Let's see, on Facebook, can you add a USB to a 2016 Yamaha gas cart? Sure you can. USBs they're designed to be hooked to 12 volts, so your battery in your gas golf cart is 12 volts. So yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem. And here's one from Robert Crewy. I'm rebuilding a 2006 EZGO TXT. I have just put charged batteries and wiring back in place, and it ran normal before I started rebuild. I took pictures of wiring, power to movement, all is back in place. When I turn key on, it does absolutely nothing. I also have taken it out of tow to run. What do you think I'm doing wrong? Thanks for all of your help and really enjoy the show. Okay, if this is a 2006, like you said, then, and you said you took it out of tow, so if it's a 2006 with tow, that means I know what car you have. You have an EZGO PDS. Well, what I would do, since you're not getting anything, all right, I'm going to ask you this. Are you aware that you can put that car in diagnostic mode? The instructions are written right there where where the tow switch is. There is a lengthy there's a sticker on there with a lengthy set of instructions on there for different things about fault codes and stuff. Well, anyway, you put that car in diagnostic mode. It tells you how. I think it's at the bottom of the list. Once you put it in diagnostic mode successfully, then it will beep out a fault code. That would be the first thing that I would do, is check that and see what it's beeping out. See what that says. Let's see. Let me go over to YouTube. Let's see, this is got a question from George F on YouTube. My 2000.5 club car gas lurches forward when trying to accelerate slowly. Cannot start at a slow and steady speed. What I would do there is obviously going to be something to do with your clutches if it's lurching forward and at a very slow speed. So crank it in neutral. I mean, I'm not exactly sure on that particular car how some cars you have to jump through hoops in order to be able to crank them in neutral, because there's a safety thing that won't allow you to do that. But on that one, I don't remember exactly what it is. But you need to crank it in neutral, lift your seat, and crank it and watch your clutches. You can watch your drive clutch and you can watch your driven clutch. And if your car is lurching forward when you barely take off, you'll be able to see what's going on that's causing that lurch in your clutches. Even though you're in neutral, you'll be able to see what happens. Your drive clutch is going to squeeze in on the belt, and if you're saying that it's lurching, that means it's squeezing in way too fast at a very low RPM. You could have something wrong inside the clutch, in the drive clutch. You could have something wrong in the driven clutch. Most likely the drive clutch. But you want to watch and find where that lurch is happening. It's probably happening in the drive clutch, and therefore it might have a weight, or the weights are stuck, or they're not slinging out, or they're all slinging out and they're stuck out. That's probably what it is. They probably have all slung out inside the clutch and they're stuck out. So anyway, that's what I would be doing in my shop to figure out why you're lurching like that. And I'm assuming that no one is been working on the car. This is just something that started happening. Let's see. That looks like it's about it. Let me check Facebook one more time here, just to make sure anything else came up. It looks like we're good. All right, that's going to be it for me this week. I want to thank everybody for sending in these questions, and thank everybody for visiting Golf Cart Garage for all your golf cart needs. Once again, if you feel like you need to speak to someone, if you're having golf cart issues and you think that it would help to speak to someone like myself or another technician at Golf Cart Garage, you're welcome to go to 𝗃𝐺𝑎RaGE.com, look for this link on the home page, click on it. Time slots will show you what time slots are available, and myself or someone else can call you at that time slot, or you can pick a video session and we can have a video session if you think it's something that I need to see in order to be able to help you. It's not always necessary, but sometimes it is. So go to 𝗃𝐺𝑎RaGE.com and look for that. I'll see everybody next week.